A very good evening everyone. Welcome to IAS with Arihant. Student, as you know, every day at 9 p.m. we are discussing about Indian polity, and basically this series is called as Prelims Possible, as this is specially designed for your prelims examination, whether it is a state PSC or UPSC examination students. So yesterday we started with the the union legislature, but the session was abruptly closed. So we will continue from where we left. And students, this session is called as Prelims Possible, and this is based on a book that is specially published by Arihant, and it contains lots of information, lots of data that is going to help you a lot in your examination. So we are going to do one thing. We are going to start our session and but before that, as it is based on a book, so we need to know what this book contains, what are the specifications, and why we must go with the book. Okay everyone. So as this book is designed in a very proper format, so there is a proper chapter wise division, and then that chapter is divided into topic, and there is a topical based mind map. Along with that, student, there is a topic based MCQs also. And students, this contain a very great explanation for each and every question, whether it is belonging to state PSC, whether it is belonging to any state PSC, UPSC. Along with that, students, there is knowledge plus for the typical question, and 3500 plus PYQ bullets is there in the last of the book. By using the same, students, you can make a quick revision of the previous year question paper. Okay everyone. So yesterday we started with the parliament, the first topic, and I'm just going to give a quick outline because we already discussed about the same. Parliament is mentioned under Article 79 of Indian Constitution, and basically it consists of President, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. And students, we derived this structure from the British structure, students. And if we talk about the composition, we already discussed President, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, all are combinedly the part of the parliament. President will not sit in the parliament in the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, but he will be the part of the parliament, students. So there are lots of function and power we already discussed. So I will start from the same point where we left with. Okay, so question number 13 we already completed. We will start with the question number 15 we have to do. Okay, so question number 15 is here, and it says that consider the following statement, and this question was in Maharashtra PSC at 2017. So first statement is saying that if a person is elected to the both house of the parliament, he must intimate within 10 days which house he desired to serve, otherwise both seat became vacant. So it says that if let's suppose a person who means chosen for the Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha both membership, and students, if he is not going to choose within 10 days, means there is a time limit also, because a single person cannot be member for both house at the same time, so he need to choose one house. Okay, so it need to do within 10 days. Okay, and there's another thing they're writing, otherwise the both house seat became vacant. So you have to see it carefully. If a person is elected to two house in a house, he should exercise his option for one, otherwise both seat became vacant. Okay, and the third statement says that if a sitting member of one house is also elected to the other house, his seat in the first house became vacant. So now which of the following is not correct? So you have to choose which of the following is not correct for the about these three statements, student. Okay. Okay. So let's suppose, students, which of the following is not correct. So if we go with the first statement, it is mentioning that it need to inform within 10 days to your desire on which seat you want to be. Okay, so if we see, let's suppose someone elected from Rajya Sabha also, Lok Sabha also, so this is a correct condition, but it says that otherwise both house seat became vacant. No, if let's suppose someone chooses for Lok Sabha also and Rajya Sabha also, then if he is not going to present desire, automatically the Rajya Sabha membership is going to be you can say vacate. You will continue with the Rajya Sabha only. So statement 1 is incorrect. Okay, But if you see the other statement, students, they are correct. Okay, if someone say chosen from the 2 seats or from the both house, he basically it is the choice of the person to whom house he want to continue. The third says that if a sitting member of one house is also elected to the other house, his seats in the first house became vacant, students. Okay, so it is very correct. So statement 1 is incorrect and statement 2 and 3 is correct, students. So option C is not correct. Okay, means option C means only 1 is not correct. So as we already discussed, statement 1 is not correct because if a person is elected to both house of the parliament, he must initiate within 10 days in which house he desired to serve. In default of such intimation, his seat in the Rajya Sabha became vacant, students. Getting it? Now we have question number 16. Parliament can make any law to give effect to international treaties in any part or a whole India. This question was in UPSC 2000 as well as it was in UPPSC 2016. So the question says that, if we read the question says that Parliament can make any law and in the relation with the international treaty in the country part or the whole country, or stated it says that A says that with the consent of all the state. Okay, so it says that if Parliament making an international treaty on that purpose, Parliament need to make consent with all state, or with the consent of the majority of the state, with the consent of the respective state, or without the consent of any state. So basically, students, international matter is the matter of the union list, where only, and we have the structure of union, so where only states means the country says means the nation says required, or you can simply say the Parliament says required. There is no need to consent with the any state. If they want, they can do, but the recommendation is means the acceptance of recommendation is depending on the Parliament, students. I hope you all getting it. So option D is more correct. So for the implementation of international treaty in any part of India or whole Parliament can make any law without consent of any state. Example of some of the law enacted under this arrangement, like United Nations Facility and Defense Act 1947, Geneva Convention 1960. These all are implemented through the Parliament. Okay, everyone. Now the question number 17 we have, that was in UPPCS 2000 and 2006. Who will decide the office of prophet? Students, in our Indian constitution it is not explicitly mentioned office of prophet, but yes, it is mentioned there. Means office of prophet is let's suppose someone is in a government office, let's suppose someone is doing the central government job, state government job, so that position will be considered as the office of prophet. And who will decide it? So president and governor, Union Parliament, Supreme Court, or UPSC. So basically, students, this is Union Parliament, and as means I'm going little fast for this question because the explanation are very greatly arranged here. So if you go with the explanation, I think that will be more good, everyone. So see, let me show you the explanation portion for this. Okay, so see, students, the office of prophet is decided by the Parliament of India for the Union government under Article 102 Clause 1 Subclause A. Okay, and students, by the state legislature of the state under the Article 191 Clause 1 Subclause A. There is a clear statement in the Indian Constitution under Article 102 Clause 1 Subclause A and Article 191 Clause 1 Subclause A that an member of Parliament or MLA is not allowed to hold any office of prophet, as this would fetch them financial gain and benefit. At present, Parliament Prevention of Disqualification Act 1959 bars the MP, MLA and MLC from holding any office of prophet under the central or state government unless it is exempted. So somewhere it is exempted also. Let's suppose sitting MLA or MP can participate in the president election. Okay, in that case. So however, it is does not clearly define what constitutes an office of prophet. holding an office of profit under the government by these member is subjected to ground of disqualification, students. Now we have question number 18. Which article of the Constitution of India bars the member of parliament from holding an office of profit under the government of India or the government of any state? So we, in the last question we discussed recently, there is a two important article. Okay, one is article 102 clause 1 subclause A and another is 191 clause 1 subclause A, students. Okay, so this article of Indian Constitution bar member of parliament, okay, from holding an office of profit under the government of India or state government. So under article 102 clause 1 subclause A for the member of parliament, and basically article 191 clause 1 subclause A is for the MLAs. Okay, so this is important, just try to remember. And why I am giving this explanation directly, because in the last explanation we just see the data, same data. So article 102 clause 1 of the Indian Constitution, okay, bars the member of parliament from holding any office of profit under the government of India or government of any state. Disqualification for membership: a person shall be disqualified for being chosen as or for being a member of either house of parliament if he hold any office of profit under the government of India or the government of any state other than any official office declared by the parliament by law, not to disqualify its holder, students. Now question number 19 we have: who can legislate on the subject which are not included in any of the list of subject given in the Constitution? Now student, who can legislate on the subject which are not included in any of the list? So we know that we have three type of list. One is list 1, that is talk about the union list, okay. Then we have list 2, that is talk about the state list. Then we have list number 3, that is talk about the concurrent list, okay. So basically in the union list matter only can center can make law. In the state list matter only state can make law. And in the concurrent list both union as well as state can make law, students. But if you see, students, let's suppose some need arises and that subject or that provision is not mentioned in any of these three lists. In that case, students, this power is called as residual power. Residuary power. And students, residuary power lies in the hand of parliament. So parliament will make law over that provision. I hope you are getting it. So these are some important data that you must remember. So parliament can legislate on the subject which is not included in any of the list given in the Constitution under article 248 deals with the residuary power of the legislation. So parliament has exclusive power to make law with respect to any matter that is not enumerated in the concurrent list or the state list or the state list. And the second one says that such power shall include the power of making any law imposing a tax not mentioned in either of those lists, students. Now, this question was in Maharashtra PSC year 2014. Parliament is empowered to get the following removed. Okay. So, students, which of the following offices can be removed by Parliament if they are not following the duty, if they are misconducting, okay, or misbehaving? So it is Comptroller and Auditor General of India, Supreme Court judges, Election Commissioner, and High Court judges, students. So we all know the Comptroller and Auditor General of India is mentioned under Article 148 of Indian Constitution. The Supreme Court judges under Article 124, the Chief Election Commissioner 324, and the High Court mentioned under Article 214 of Indian Constitution. Now, so Parliament is empowered to get of the following removed, students. So you have to choose the correct answer. So if you see, students, Comptroller General, Supreme Court, Chief Election Commissioner, High Court, they all can be removed from the by the Parliament, okay, by the special majority. Okay, everyone. So if we see the explanation, Parliament is empowered to remove the CAG office, Supreme Court Judge, Chief Election Commissioner, High Court, Under Article 124 Clause 4 basically proceed that the judge of Supreme Court and High Court shall not be removed from his office except an order of the President on the ground prove misbehavior, as I told you, misbehavior and incapacity. Under Article 324, Chief Election Commissioner is provided with the security of tenure. He cannot be removed from his office except the same manner on the same ground as the judge of Supreme Court. So there will be same procedure is going to be followed. CAG shall only remove from the office like manner and on the like ground of the judge of Supreme. So they all will be removed from the same means in the same manner. Okay. So this is also important. Just try to remember. If you see the question number 21, the Parliament of India acquire the power to legislate on any item in the state list. Student, we already discussed how many type of list we have. So there is a division of power. One is called as union list, another is called as a state list, and the third one is called as concurrent list. Okay, the union list is mentioned under means it is initially there was 97 power, but now it is increased to 100. State has initially 66 power, but now it is 61, and concurrent has initially 47, but now it has 52 powers. Student, I told you already and multiple times you have read somewhere. Over the union list subject only center or parliament can make law. In the state list manner, students only state can make law, and in the concurrent list only means both can create law. But here it says that Parliament of India acquired the power to legislate on any item in the state list in the national interest if a resolution to that effect is passed by. So let's suppose Parliament want to modify the state list, what procedure is going to be followed? So is it possible or not? So we all know we have two type of houses, one is Lok Sabha, another is Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha is representing the complete country and Rajya Sabha representing the state, because it is called as Council of State. So what you see, students, now you have to read the statement very carefully because it was in UPSC 2016 IAS pre. Okay, so Lok Sabha by a simple majority of its total membership. So it says that ki in the state list any modification, addition, deletion can be done by the Parliament if Lok Sabha by simple majority pass that, means give resolution on the same. Okay, so this is incorrect. Lok Sabha by a majority not less than 2/3 of the total membership. So this is also incorrect because Lok Sabha will not take part in this. Okay, Rajya Sabha by simple majority of its total membership. This is also incorrect. So students, this can only done by the Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha must agree on the same, and it should be not less than 2/3 of the member present and voting in the Rajya Sabha. Students, this is very important as it is a matter of state. So state is going to decide what is going to happen on the state list matter, students. Okay, so if we see the explanation, the Parliament of India acquired the power to legislate on any item in the state list in the national interest if a resolution to that effect is passed by the Rajya Sabha by a majority not less than 2/3 of its member present and voting. Okay, so under Article 249, if Rajya Sabha passes a resolution supported by 2/3 of its member present and voting, that is necessary and expedient in the national interest, that Parliament should make laws with respect to any matter enumerated within the state list, and then the Parliament became competent to make law on that matter, students. Such a resolution normally lasts for 1 year at a time. It may be renewed any time, n number of time, but not exceeding 1 year at a time, students. I hope you all able to understand. So these law of the Parliament will however cease to have effect on the expiration of the period of 6 months after resolution has ceased to operate, students. Getting it? So that's why I told you this book contain a very great explanation portion that is going to help you in your building your concept as well as for the prelims examination as well as in the mains examination, students. Okay, so now we have question number 22. Read it carefully. Once again, this was in UPPSC means 2011. Which one of the following statement is not correct regarding the power of Parliament to legislate on a matter in state list student. Now, which one of the following statement is not correct regarding the power of the parliament to legislate on a matter in the state list? Okay, not correct. You have to choose. The Rajya Sabha has to declare that it would be necessary in the national interest. Okay. A resolution has to be passed by Rajya Sabha not less than 2/3 of the membership present and voting. Third says that the legislation could be for the whole or any part of the country, and only the Rajya Sabha can make law with respect to the matter of state list in the national interest. Now, which of the following is not correct? Okay, so this is important. Okay, so that's why I told you ki, means if you see the question very means closely, you'll find that the things are easy, but you have to read it with patience. Okay, once again I'm repeating this question. Which one of the following statement is not correct regarding the power of parliament to legislate on matter in a state list? Not correct. So Rajya Sabha has to declare that it will be necessary for the national interest. So we already read it. Okay, national interest, then parliament means Rajya Sabha can modify it. Resolution must be passed by Rajya Sabha not less than 2/3 majority present and voting. This statement is also correct. And legislation could be for the whole country or any part of the country students. So it is not necessary it is for the whole country. It can be any part of the state students. So this is also important. And now if you talk about the D, only Rajya Sabha can make law with respect to the matter in the state list in the national interest students. Okay, so see, Article 249 is mentioning about Parliament can make law in the state list, but the only resolution must be passed by Rajya Sabha. So if you read this statement, only the Rajya Sabha can make law. No, Rajya Sabha will pass resolution, then it can be done only. I hope you are able to understand it. So this is important, and just take this data seriously. Okay, so if you go with this explanation, the Rajya Sabha does not have any authority to make law on subject enumerated in the state list. Okay, Article 249 empower Parliament to legislate with respect to a matter in state list in the national interest, and this resolution should be passed by Rajya Sabha with the majority of 2/3 member present in the house and voting students. I hope you all able to understand. So these things are important. Now we are going to discuss about the Rajya Sabha. This is the second topic of this chapter, and the third topic of this chapter is Lok Sabha. Student, we already discussed Article 79 of Indian Constitution is mentioning about the basically Parliament is consist of President, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So President of India we already discussed. Okay, and we already discussed about the Parliament common things that was previously asked. Now we are going to see a special provision related to the individual house, that is Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, that was previously asked in your examination. So I hope it is visible to you properly. So I'm just going to start from the same point. Student, as we already know, Rajya Sabha mentioned under Article 80 of the Indian Constitution, the composition of Rajya Sabha. And students, Rajya Sabha is called as upper house of the Parliament. It is not written in the Constitution, but as we derive our parliamentary system from the Britain, so that's why we are saying that this is the upper house of the Indian Parliament. It is also called as permanent house, and it cannot be dissolved, and it is represented by both state as well as the union territory. So we all know that from state there can be 220 members, and from the union territory there can be 18 members, and we all know that 12 member is going to be nominated by the President of India. Okay, so this is also very important to understand, and this question was previously asked ki Rajya Sabha is only represented by state or union territory or both. So we all know the Rajya Sabha has means membership from the both type of state arrangement. One is state and other is union territory. If we talk about the number of seats, okay, so the maximum number can be 250, but out of 250, 238 is going to be elected and 12 is going to be nominated by the President of India. But if we talk about the current strength is 245, and students, this 12 member nominated from the by the President of India, they belong to art, science, literature. Okay, so these type of means experience required, but it is not compulsory. Supreme Court legislated in that matter. It can be, means they interpreted it ki it can be from anywhere, but if these places are going to be chosen, then it will be well and good. Now, what is the eligibility to be the member of Rajya Sabha student? So he must be the citizen of India and at least 30 years of age, not holding any office of profit under the government of India or any state, and possess qualification as may be prescribed by the parliament, and not be insolvent, and have sound mind. Sound mind means he must have a good sense of thinking. He must not unsound, means he must not mad. Okay, and if we talk about students election, so it is an indirect election, and basically he is elected by our electoral college, and that electoral college is consist of elected MLA of the state. Okay, so proportional representation by means of single transferable voting system.